We did it. I'm
How
kind of
did that happen?
I'm kind of happy that the Panthers are losing 5-1 right now, so that we can actually talk about the Inter Miami match. Even though I feel like most of my attention was on the Panthers game for part of this match, so yeah, I was watching when we won, and that was awesome. So I am excited to be back, excited to be talking about it, and yeah, how are you guys feeling?
I can't believe what I just saw. That has to be the sloppiest, the worst, or one of the worst Inter Miami games that we've seen, at least in a very long time. And that, I don't know. I don't know what I just watched, to be honest. I don't know what happened to our two guys. I don't know what we're gonna do next match without guys. I have no idea. And we won. We came out with a win somehow by a miracle. I mean, Alfonso, I predicted an Alfonso goal to not to toot my own horn, but he got the goal and man, that I have no words for the ending of that match. I saw 8 minutes stoppage time and I was like, oh crap, we're gonna lose. There's no way. There's no way we're gonna last 8 minutes without bodies out there. And somehow, some way they did it. And hey, big ups to Alfonso that made it happen at the end. Big ups to him because I've spoken poorly about him in the past, so all praise on him today.
I was getting ready to torch everybody for this one. I understand that we're missing so many pieces, so many key pieces, but man, they just looked so off. And you expect more from some of these players. And then you have David Ruiz looking like a disaster out there. You have the continued boneheaded play of Toto Aviles, where we go down two players at 1.3 players because Christoph he was down for 2 minutes, so then he had to wait. He had to wait for another 2 minutes. So the fact that they not just got the draw here, they didn't just get a draw, but they actually pulled out the win and the 3 points. Like, how many times have we seen this team lose without Messi? Yet this situation with this squad and with this many disadvantages, this is the match that they come away with the 3 points. It's just unreal. And yeah, I get like I'm ready to torch Tata for being a terrible manager and not getting his guys disciplined enough. But then he's rewarded with a flyer sub. He takes out Campana, which I was thinking, why are we taking Campana off? He's our only capable striker. And turns out he's not even the most capable backup Leo on the team. So yeah, so good job, Tata. Like I have to eat my words and just say good job because he made the right move at the end to kind of and Yannick Bright with the game winning assist as well. So that's the one young guy that I thought played pretty well from whistle to whistle.
Yeah, the narrative completely changed. The first half was atrocious. It was really rough to watch. There was so many mistakes. The first goal that we allowed was awful. It was just lazy defending. We defend with such a high line that you just can't fall asleep on a player running in behind. And he split the defender so easily. I believe it was Ure, and it was just really it was so bad. And yet another time where we allow a goal within the first 5 minutes of a game, and it's now the 13th time that Inter Miami have conceded first but won, which is an absolutely insane statistic. That is not a good formula for success. So hopefully we can somehow find a way of tidying that up. But this, honestly, this is one of the biggest results in Inter Miami history when we talk about all sort of the elements that played out. No Messi, no Suarez, down two players in this match, like 9 players, backs against the wall in Philadelphia, which is notoriously a very difficult place to play. It is honestly such an incredible result. I tweeted maybe 10 minutes before stoppage time, so around the 80th minute, that we would be really lucky to get out with 1 point. We really haven't played well. It was it was so hard to foresee any outcome other than us losing or just squeaking by with getting the draw. And then to have that play and to just see Philadelphia defend so poorly and leave themselves so open for that counter, it was just beautiful for us. Like for our purposes, it was perfect when all was said and done.
It was
Completely
such a
proven
nice,
wrong
it was
because
such a nice counter too, because it wasn't just that he was on a fast break
Poor
and
Benjamin.
oh my God, I mean, he had a great chance, yeah, but he had a great chance earlier, and it was just unlucky on that part. But I'm happy that he didn't pass the Benha. It's the same type of thing that happened to Campana earlier. It's selfish if you take that shot and you don't make it when you have an open player across from you. But yeah, if you're gonna take the shot, you better take the shot well. And not only did he have a good uh, foot on the ball, but he boxed out the defender who was closing in on him. Like he played that perfectly. I have no problem when you do something like that. But when Campana had the same chance, he probably had an easier pass as well to the open player, and he chose to just take a terrible shot. So I mean, it's tough, man. Campana has had a lot of chances this season. Like, he hasn't had as many chances as he's had in the past, but he's had plenty of opportunity to make a big impact on this squad, and he's missed them. That's the problem. You expect him to really capitalize, and that's why he's a player who's looking like someone that we might sell. And I think I don't know if it was Hercules Gomez or if it was Fabian who said all the other teams would love to have Campana, and fine. Honestly, if they love to have him, great. Let them pay for him.
I was gonna say I was completely proven wrong from our preview episode because I said this is a match that if we go down, that streak is just gonna go away because we don't have the firepower. We don't have Messi. We don't have Luis Suarez, and even to some extent, we don't have Rojas. Rojas has been a contributor since he's come in. We didn't have those three attackers in this match, and I was completely convinced if we went down, we were not coming back. I thought Philadelphia was just going to park the bus, and that was it for us. And boy, was I wrong. I was completely wrong. Yeah, we didn't have that firepower. We didn't have that strong attack that we normally see, but the guys got it done. And in a very interesting fashion late in the game.
Yeah, so just before we go any further, I need to give a shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias, Chao, Abu Aba, Marivi. Thank you so much for your continued generous support. This is the Heron Heads podcast, by the way, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. My name's Julio, and that's Dave and Chris, and Jose is busy doing other things. Who knows where in the world Jose is today? But yeah, links in the description for Patreon if you're interested, for our merch store if you're interested, for our Discord if you're interested. And this is episode 85 of the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. Appreciate you guys being here. If you guys are watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe buttons, please. It helps us tremendously. And back to this match, I will say, and this goes back to this not being a good formula for Inter Miami. While the first goal that we scored, I think, was in the run of play, well developed, I will say that the second goal, while I don't want to take anything at all away from Leo, it is more a capitulation of Philadelphia's defending in that situation than Inter Miami really being able to create a chance like that with any consistency, I guess I would say. I'm trying to find the way to sort of verbalize this, but Yannick Bright made a fantastic play to get the ball up to Leo Alfonso. He muscled off a couple of Philadelphia players, but that situation when you're down to 9 men, like we were just holding on to our butts essentially. And then the opportunity presented itself and we took advantage of it, which is amazing to see. And that's something that we've developed by always conceding first, is that we've been in the situation before and it's not something that's completely foreign to us where we get nervous. I think a lot of the players, while it is exhausting to play in that fashion, we know sort of how to play. And Bright saw the situation, he saw the play in front of him and made a great play. But I don't think that it was so much like, oh, we like came back and scored 2 goals. Like that second goal, I think while equally good counterattacking play by Inter Miami, it was equally bad defensive play by Philadelphia.
I agree. I completely agree. But I also don't want to take too much away from that either, because how many times have we seen this team go on a break and then inexplicably slam on the brakes instead of just running at
Just in
the
this
goal?
game, just in
It
this game, we
happened like
saw it 4 times.
It happened like 4 or
That's
5
what I was
times
gonna
in
say.
this
We
one.
saw it a few times this game. Exactly.
It's so frustrating. We have numbers, you have the momentum, and they just slam on the brakes. I think the most egregious one in this one was Campana as well. He had the numbers, they were all running upfield, and he just danced in the middle of the field and then turned the ball over. And then you have half of your team on the other side. So it's I don't I don't know who to blame on that. Is it Campana? Is it Tata? Because it's happening frequently, and it's not just Campana. I mean, does it 3 times a game. It feels like throughout the season, and kudos to Gressel who found the back of the net. Seems like the first time in 15 years. But yeah, this team. Man, I mean, it's hard to be hard on them right now. They had so many things against them, and they still were able to pull it out. And yeah, I mean,
It's true.
Yeah,
It's such an ugly match, and I don't know what we can
I
still be
mean,
hard on them. Let's be hard on them
the
because it was
narrative
ugly. But
93 minutes through this game was bad. Bad. No composure by the boys getting the second yellow cards in both instances. The the play all around was really poor. The first half was atrocious. The passing, we couldn't get any form of consistency. There was just no rhythm. There was no swagger. It was like Messi and Suarez aren't here. We have zero confidence. Like, we don't know what to do. We don't know who to look for. We don't know where to look for them. And the second half, we saw a couple things happening. We were able to hold the ball a little bit better, but then we went down to 10 men, and then we went down to 9 men. And then we sort of pulled the rabbit out of the hat, and Leo Afonso bailed us out completely, and the we leave Philadelphia with 3 points. I think, like, even if we came out with the draw, we would have been very thankful. The fact that we're leaving with a win is just
it's unreal.
incredible.
It's
Yeah,
unreal.
it's incredible. We feel like we won the lottery.
It's yeah, it's free money. It's we just made free money on this one, and also missing all the players that we were missing. Alba and Busquets, I feel like weren't massive contributors when it came to the goals. I didn't see who assisted the Gressel goal because I was so shocked that Gressel put it in the back of the net.
it was
But
Benja.
it was Benja, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
Alba got the hockey assist essentially. I
Hmm.
think
okay.
Campana played it over the top, maybe Busquets, to Alba, who was on the left, played it into Kramaski, who kind of mishandled it, but then played it over to Gressel, who also sort of took a weird touch and it bounced up, and that's why he volleyed it, which he did incredibly well.
Yeah, yeah. No, the goal was outstanding. I don't want to take anything away from Gressel because was long overdue. This is a player who does score goals in the MLS, just not for Inter Miami. But yeah, I mean, again, it's something to praise that they found a way to win with also missing their 2 big players and not getting super high contributions from Alba and Busquets. Busquets played well, but I mean, on the defensive side, we say it every game. These guys are just lunging and closing their eyes and hoping for a prayer there, and it's frustrating to watch. One person that I feel like I have to speak negative about is Weigand. Cello is I don't know what they expect of him in this formation, but he seems like he's a wanderer. Like that's okay if your name is Lionel Messi. He thinks he's the Messi of the defensive line, and he's just all over the pitch. And he finds himself in the middle of the field, far in the attack, and he's asking for passes, and then doesn't do anything once the ball finds his feet. That's a player that we expect more. I'm fine with him. I think he's solid enough on the defense as long as he stays on the defense. I don't want him to believe that he has the same capabilities as Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, I'm okay with playing that part and wandering and finding himself in the midfield, but Cello hasn't shown me any reason that that's a good move for the squad. So that's something that I'm hoping gets reined back. But I think this match was probably the worst that we had seen that style of like him just wandering around. Do you guys agree with that, or was that just my observation?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And like you said, I think defensively he's fine. I think he did well holding down Kai Wagner. most of the game because he really wasn't a factor today. So he did a good job there. But like you said, he was found that play that there was a dummy. It got to Campana in the middle of the box. Cello was kind of like in the way, and I'm not giving that as an excuse for Campana to just do a little blooper that he did, but it didn't help. It didn't help. I don't know why Cello was in the middle of the box. There was no real reason for him to be there. It was just congested. I think there was 3 or 4 people inside the box, and Cello should not have been in there. Cello should have been on his wing and just stayed there. Um, but yeah, I don't know why he's just drifting around so much. There's no reason for him to really be doing that. His strong suit is his defense, in my opinion, and he just shouldn't really be doing that. I'm not completely contributing it to him, but that play could have gone a lot better, I think, if there wasn't so much congestion in the box and he just was not there. So there was a lot of instances like that we saw. His crossing wasn't very great. He was calling for the ball constantly throughout the whole match, and I don't see why, honestly. Especially, let's say Alba had the ball on the other side of the pitch, he was still calling for. You see him waving his hand, like me, pick me, and I don't know why he gets the ball and he just didn't show anything when he had the ball. So yeah, that's question mark. I think we praised him when he first got here, but lately the past few matches he's been like a little bit questionable. Maybe it's just a style of play that Tata has him doing. I don't know, but yeah, it's someone to watch. I think to keep a close eye on.
Yeah, I forgot who tweeted on Twitter, who posted on X that Cello and Gressel seem to be having some spacing issues, and maybe it was like a redundancy. And I wonder how much that factors in, having Gressel play on the wing and Cello being asked to get up the pitch a lot. I really this was something new completely for Inter Miami, having Gressel so far up, David Ruiz on the right side of the midfield, Cello also on the right. Like those 3 players, all 3 of them can play essentially those 3 positions at times in a match. And maybe it was a lot of that factoring into why Cello was sort of wandering around more than usual, because he is a wanderer. That is for sure, regardless of the game. But today, I definitely felt like he was caught out of position more often than not. And yeah, that is happening with more frequency, which is concerning. There's essentially no depth behind Cello, so we need him to be a reliable player, a consistent player, and a player that doesn't affect us up and down the pitch, whether it be offensively or defensively. So hopefully we see more of the Cello that we saw when he first joined the club. And it is interesting that we tend to see sort of good performances when players first join the club, and then like a slow descent into insanity, where
once
they're just
Tata, once Tata gets a hold of them.
exactly. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch how he continues to grow within this team. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the first goal, because I thought it was really poor defending. What did you guys see on the first goal that we allowed?
I mean, I turned on the TV and then they scored. That's what it felt like. That's how quickly that goal happened. It was the 3rd minute, which means it was 2 minutes and like 30 seconds in. Yeah, it's just it looked like they weren't ready to play. They weren't set up properly. I don't know what happened, and they just went in there and I don't know, honestly. Like I wasn't even settled in, so I didn't get like a real firm grasp of how they scored. But my impression was just like, Jesus, these guys were less ready than I was, and I had just turned on the TV.
I honestly didn't even have the game on at that point. I was running late, and I was like, "Oh, just a few minutes," and I turned it on, and they had literally just finished scoring a few seconds before that. And honestly, to tell the truth, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised at all when I saw it was 1-0. I was like, "Eh."
Yeah, I'm at my in-laws' house, and I was like, they had just asked me if I wanted a glass of wine, and I said no. I want to be mentally prepared for this game and for the show. And I said, you know what? I think I will have that glass of wine. This is going to be a long one, and you know what? It turned out great. But when you start like that, you expect a seal beating, and luckily we were able to. I mean, I don't know who thought that paid off because this doesn't make any sense. The game doesn't make any sense.
And speaking of Chelo, we have to talk about the block that Chelo made.
Yeah.
Because for all that he did bad, he wandered his way into the middle of our net and saved a tap in, essentially.
Yeah, like I said, defense is not his weak spot. Defense is he's solid to above average defense, and he showed it there. I mean, he was right place at the right time, but he stopped a key goal from or key shot from going in, and that might have been the play of the game to really keep us in it. Because I had no expectation for a calendar to really stop that. It was, first of all, it was way too close, and the velocity that ball came out of that foot is, I don't know. I'm surprised Cello even got on that, because the reaction time for him to actually do that was insane, because that was coming at like a rocket.
Yeah, for me, it's as good as a goal. Like for a defender,
Yeah.
when you make a block like that, it is as good as a goal. So I do need to give Chelo credit there. His positioning, again, I don't know what he was doing because it wasn't even in the box on the right side. It was in the box on the left side of the goal. So I don't know how he ended up there, but I'm very happy that he did. And that definitely kept us in this match. That point, we would have been down 2-0. So that was a huge moment in this match. What do you guys think of Calendar in this game? Because I don't know. Both goals, or I'm sorry, the goal that was scored on him, it was close quarters. It's one of those, I mean, it's almost like 50-50. It's very similar to the goal that Afonso scored, really, where it's sort of just one-on-one with the keeper, and the player just needs to choose a side and commit and play a good ball. And I don't think he could have done much better, but it's always so hard to say in those situations. And we keep talking about how Drake Callender is a shot stopper, and he's
not doing
not
that
stopping
anymore.
shots. So how do you guys think he played today?
I think League's Cup, Drake Calendar makes that stop. And I think that might be in the past. Like it's definitely in the past, but I think that those days of that caliber Drake Calendar are in the past. I think we're seeing more of him coming back down to earth as to the player that he actually is. And I just don't expect him to be making too many of those. Maybe one outrageous save a game, I think is more likely for him. But yeah, now we've seen so many of those shots go in that yeah, he probably could have done better. But you say that every match, you say that every match. At some point, you gotta stop expecting for that League's Cup Drake Calendar to be here. I think that that's done. If they want to improve that position, I don't think there's much of a higher ceiling for Drake. I think that's it, unfortunately. And then other than that one save, I don't think he was tested much more in this one. I don't think he really had to do anything else. He had one nice punch on a corner by Wagner. So yeah, I mean he wasn't tested too much. He had that one opportunity to really wow us, and he didn't. Granted, I guess nobody was ready, including him. And yeah, I mean when you have, and that's why we have to score so many goals to win these games, because we don't have a great defense and we don't have a great goalkeeper either. You got to call a spade, and until the transfer window comes, and I don't think they're going to prioritize goalkeeper. I think everybody sees the writing on the wall that center back is the name of the game, and I think the hot name right now is Rafael Varane. So that would be super nice, because I think they were saying it on this broadcast too, that they need a good center back, but they also need a pacey one, because there's that one thing that's evident on this team is that there's no pace. It you don't feel it as much when Messi's on the field, because he can maneuver and kind of maximize the pace that he has. But when he's not on the field, it's just Robert Taylor's your speed demon, and he's not a speed demon. Let's be
Much of a
honest.
demon.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to to Drake, that's how I feel about Drake Calendar. I don't think that there's much more to. I think we're getting what we're getting. It is what it is. To use a cliche, it's the truth.
Yeah, it's a shame to see, because Calendar played so well last year, and obviously League's Cup Calendar was on another level. But yeah, we're not seeing it a lot this year. Today, like you said, he didn't really get tried too much. There's 3 shots on target. He saved 2. The other one went in. So there wasn't much test today to see how he was. The goal scored on him, like you said, Julio, was very close quarters. He didn't really have much area to go, or there's not much he could do on that one, I think. So it's hard to put a lot of blame on him on that one. I think that all the blame there purely goes on the defense there. Toto and Kristoff got both caught sleeping. They couldn't catch up. Speaking of pacey defenders or pace in general, they couldn't catch up. Does a Varane make a play like that? Maybe. But yeah, I don't think he gets smoked in the first place like they did. So there's that. But yeah, Drake did okay today. He had there was one nice shot block that he had, fingertip on the top post, that was nice, but he didn't get tested too much, so it's hard to really tell. To be honest, he was all right. There was one cross that came in. You could tell he took the wrong angle because he started running towards his left side. And as soon as he started running, he saw, I guess, where the attacker was at. And he's like, oh, crap. And he noticed that he made a wrong decision. He was lucky he didn't have to do anything there, but he made the wrong decision. And he started backpedaling. So that could have been very ugly there. But for the most part, he wasn't tested. So it's hard to really say.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we're talking about the central defenders. And Toto's going to miss the midweek match against Columbus, which is going to be a whole animal unto itself. Do you guys think we see Ian Frey? Because I'm starting to question how truthful his health may be.
He was on the bench. He was playing for the junior squad. So I would like to hold all that information at face value. I don't want to say these guys are lying. To have somebody on the bench when you're this depleted who can't play doesn't make any sense. So I'm assuming he's going to be ready, and he might have to play with Toto out. Kristoff, we don't know how injured he is. So we might we might see a Sailor and Ian Frey starting back line in this next
Or
match.
Noah Allen.
I never know. I mean, probably, but no. Maybe negative.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Negative. I don't know. Ian Frey, I think he should be fine. Like you said, he's played in the second team. Today, I think, was the first match that he was on the bench for us. I don't think he had appeared on the bench throughout the season since he's been healthy, at least. So I think this is the first match he was on the bench for us. Maybe they were just questioning whether he was ready to even be on the pitch as far as chemistry goes. But at the end of the game, when you're down 2 guys, I mean, you just got to throw everything out there. So it's surprising they didn't put him in. But I think once they look very hard at him, I don't have any trust in Sailor. Everyone knows my trust in Kristoff. It's not there at all. And we don't have anyone else. Noah Allen's not a center back. We've seen it. Tata keeps trying to put a square peg in a round hole there, but it doesn't work. So, yeah, I don't know who else would play back there, to be honest. If we have we know Freida's out for the year. Toto's out next game because of the red card accumulation. To answer a question in the comments, it's just next match. It's just one game that Toto's out. And yeah, that's pretty much all we got back there. So ready or not, Ian Frey better get out there.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to clarify. I was just informed by Scotty Gray that Ian Frey played 60 minutes on Thursday for Inter Miami second team. So that's probably why he wasn't the first choice substitution. But I don't know if he was just added then to the bench to fill out the bench. But
So break glass in case of emergency is what he was. I think
yeah.
If you get guys knocked up in that center back room, and you just need bodies, I think he would have gone in there as a tired replacement.
Right.
But the fact that they're getting red cards, that's hard to make a 1-for-1 replacement at the position.
And given Yannick Bright's performance, do you think he starts in David Ruiz's place? Because I think just the short amount of time that he played tonight, he deserves a starting spot.
I hope so.
I don't think
he hasn't gone out there and made a fool of himself. Every time that he gets playing time, he seems to be not just playing well, but like he finds himself in the right spot. there was that one match that defensively we kind of had to hold our own. I think it was the one of those matches that we had a clean sheet, and I think it happened because Yannick Bright was constantly in the right spot. He started in place of Busquets that match, and he was always, always, always in the right place to block shots. And yeah, we don't have a defensive minded player like that in the midfield. Now that Redondo's not starting regularly, but even Yannick Bright is more defensive minded than Redondo. Redondo's a very very well rounded center mid, but Yannick Bright he sells out for the defense. That's what he does. So I would absolutely love for us to have somebody like that next to Busquets, because Busquets, as good as he can be a liability in the sense that he can get, like, if he gets beat, see you later. Like, there's he's not catching up to anyone. So having somebody like Yannick Bright covering him and letting him just kind of open it up a little more, I think is the right move, which is what we envision with Redondo. But Yannick Bright has a little more of a safety cushion than Redondo.
Yeah, it's good. It's good you mentioned Redondo because I was gonna say something kind of similar. I think with Bright in there, they kind of switched the roles. I think Busquets could play more of that Redondo role that we were seeing, kind of stay up a little bit, make the key passes into the attack, and Bright could play more of that Busquets role that he's been playing, kind of stay back, play that third center back type of role that we've seen him go back to. Because, like you said, Busquets can get burned. If he gets burned, there's no catching up there. He's not gonna react and go back to catch up to anybody. So I think Bright should be starting going forward. At least now, while we have all of these players out, I think he's a very good person to just put in there in that midfield. We saw Ruiz didn't have a good game at all. He's gonna be out with the red card, and Benha hasn't showed too much, to be honest. I'm left wanting more from Benha. So I think Bright has shown us exactly what he could do and what his forte is. Not everyone has to be a scorer. Not everyone has to be an attacker. We need these guys that are solid on defense. And it's actually, it reminds me of Arroyo last year. Arroyo was a very good um, defensive center mid, and we that was a big piece that we lost. To be honest, we missed that defensive piece, and I think Yannick Bright could play that kind of role that Arroyo was playing last year. Not so much of an attacker, flashy player, but gets the dirty job done on defense. So yeah, I agree. I think Bright should definitely be starting at least a few games going forward.
What a
Who
deep
le-
what a
who
deep
le-
cut. I
yeah,
love it. I love
Dixon
it.
Arroyo. Wow, the tears are welling
Yeah,
up.
yeah, man.
Who leaves you wanting more? David Ruiz or Ben Hakremaski?
In this match, I'll say not Ben Ha, David Ruiz, absolutely. Kremaski, he's had starts where he has looked lost. I don't think he looked lost in this one. This one he didn't play great, but also there was moments that he shone, like he did shine in certain moments. So he had chances. He was making good runs. Like, I wasn't too upset with Kremaski. Like, other times, I'm like, get this guy off the pitch. Like, I don't want him starting. But in this situation, you absolutely needed him start, and you need Ruiz to start too. And then Ruiz does what he does, and that's the type of play that gets you just. I mean, that loses you games. We've seen it. We saw it in Mexico, and you can't have guys lose their cool like that. And once is an accident, but twice is a pattern. And now we've seen David Ruiz do this multiple times. And I'm the manager. I can't trust that player. He's never starting ever. You can't start somebody like that.
Yep, that's spot on. That's spot on. It's becoming a pattern, and that's worrisome. Someone has to talk this guy off the cliff here and just get control of him. He's losing his cool out there. There's no reason to get that second yellow card at all. And yeah, Ruiz is my answer too on that one. Ruiz, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Ruiz. I've always harped about how nice of a player he is. He's a developmental player, but he's shown so much. But this season, he's taken a complete downturn from what we saw last season. And yeah, he's becoming a liability, to be honest, out there. I don't see how they could continue starting him with that kind of liability or with that kind of risk that he brings.
Yeah, so we'll get to see the experiment this upcoming match where he's suspended. But I guess let's take a quick look we have a hard time getting the previews out for midweek fixtures. So we play Columbus. And while that sounds daunting in theory, they actually haven't had that great of a season. I think they have a lot of shimmer and luster to them because of their finish last season, but they've kind of had a hard time going. Have they played tonight yet, Chris, or did they play yesterday? Can you check that for us? You're also muted. You're muted, Chris.
Oh, my bad. I do believe that they played tonight. Let me see here quickly. Actually, I don't even think they played this weekend, to be honest.
Oh, so they'll be nice and fresh to take us on. Perfect.
Yeah, they didn't play
Love
this
that.
weekend.
That spells
Great.
victory for Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Great. They're going to be so rusty.
They're gonna be.
Oh,
so
they played Friday
rested.
night. Sorry, they played
Okay, so
Friday.
they
They played last night.
And
yeah,
who'd
they
they beat?
they beat New York City FC.
Okay,
3-2.
that's a pretty
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
good
that's
result for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously they have a lot of still very dangerous pieces. They have a manager that can run circles around Tata, and it's going to be a tough one. Is this match on Wednesday at Miami?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
it's at
Sorry, I'm
Miami.
putting you like completely on the spot.
It is. No, it's at Miami. It's at Miami.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we have
I
that
know
going
because I was
for
looking
us.
at tickets to go, but it's midweek. It's so difficult to go.
It's midweek. You know there's going to be a
Yeah.
weather delay based on how the weather's been. It's going to be an
too
absolute
much.
disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a really interesting test for what is essentially like a hodgepodge of a team as we get through this sort of month and a half span without Messi, without Suarez, without Rojas. So yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see how we cope with what can at times be a very dangerous Columbus team. I don't know. I can't go into any of these matches right now with any bit of confidence. The boys didn't really leave me filled with confidence. I'm filled with like adrenaline and endorphins are pumping through my body right now because of what Afonso did at the end of this match. But I'm heading in with hesitation. You know, I'm hopeful that we'll see some good stuff, but it's going to be another tough battle. It's going to be another difficult fixture, and we just sort of need to grind through these. Tonight was a great 3 points that leaves us atop the table, no matter what outcomes happen in the other matches. And we just sort of need to keep grinding these results out because these little stretches are where you sort of win the supporter shield or drop a couple places in the playoffs that make a difference in matchups. So these are really important results for us and really important fixtures that are upcoming for us.
Yeah, this this match was not the blueprint going forward. The
At
blueprint
all.
is not going down 2 players and scoring a last minute goal to steal 3 points in another city. Like there's nothing to really glean from this other than you have a wild and inconsistent team that can score goals. And that doesn't offer you any kind of insight
We
for a
don't
coming
give
match.
up.
Believe.
That's what we're hanging our hat on.
But to go back to Columbus real quick, I really do believe that they put the MLS on the back seat. I truly believe that. There's no way such a good team last season just disappears in the MLS right away. They still have a great coach. They still have a great player like Cucho Hernandez. I don't see how such a team like that just goes away in the MLS. I really truly think that they put all their efforts, all their heart and soul into CONCACAF, which unfortunately I was rooting for them. We were rooting for them. They didn't win it, but I truly believe that's what's happened to them, and it was a good outcome for them last night against New York City FC. And I think we're going to see them take the next step for the rest of the MLS season, because they're too good of a team to really just go away like that. So Wednesday's going to be tough. Wednesday's going to be tough, especially if we play like today. So for those not watching, Shoes Are Not Hammers, they just commented, in lieu of Jose's not here with us today, I just want to say that we had 58 possession. This stat brought to you by my Excel spreadsheet. He does have the Excel spreadsheet. It does exist, and it keeps proving him right. It's just a fact.
Well, I think I think this was an outlier because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that when we win possession, that we typically lose.
We don't do as well.
So the blueprint was there. We just got saved by
Oh.
Afonso. Or maybe there's a certain
Yeah.
threshold that once we go over it, we
I don't know.
we
I thought it
tend
was
to lose.
60%.
It might be. So yeah, we were below the threshold to get into the danger zone. This one was headed for a loss indeed. Yeah, well, Columbus has all these things still from last year, but we have their Gressel. So, you know,
Inside
how about that?
information.
That's
Inside
right.
information. Here we go.
That's right.
He's the guy that wins the championships, and we have him now. So good luck. I don't know what to tell
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, they've never won a championship without Gressel.
Figure it out.
Never.
All right. So what's the plan? Are you guys going to go back to watching the Panthers game, which is currently 6-1?
No.
Are you going to look for tickets to go to game 5, which are currently upwards of $900 to get
I
into the
saw the
building?
cheapest ticket right now is
Absolutely not.
$1,000.
Yep, not happening.
Yeah, that's a big no. Big no for me, dog.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna go back to continue working on our website. That'll
there you go.
revamped website be out soon, everybody.
Oh, be out soon.
Wait.
Okay, fantastic. In the meantime, make sure you follow us at the Heron Heads to get updates on when that is available and when Chris is done doing his diligent work. And Chris, before I end us and send us off here, do you have anything to add?
Cincinnati plays tomorrow. Oh no, sorry, tonight, 10:30. Is it tonight? I'm all over the place today.
That's right now.
Tonight, San Jose, 10:30. What time is it? Should be
10:30.
starting now. In MLS
Right
fashion,
now.
it'll probably start like 15 minutes from now. But yeah, they play tonight against San Jose, so they're probably gonna win. Honestly,
Yeah,
pray for
San
the
Jose is
loss.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for everyone that's still hanging out in the YouTube, thanks for sticking around, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. For those of you watching on X, thanks so much for hanging out. Retweet, follow, like. I don't know what options you have anymore on X. They're changing everything every single day. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We are the Heron Heads, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. And we will catch you. If we don't get a preview out for Wednesday's match, we'll be live post-match to discuss everything that happens. And so until then, have a good night. Go Panthers. Go Inter Miami. Leo Afonso, we love you. And also, I don't know how to play the outro. There we go.